Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PokeOpinion.
It's Puckle! It's Puckle! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! Puckle!
Welcome to another episode of the PUCL Podcast. I'm your host, Trainer Thatch. Here today with my lovely co-host, we've got the one and only Clod 9.
Hello, everyone.
And we've got Lord Jushiro, or I guess just Jushiro.
Some say it's me, Jushi.
Jushi. All right, welcome to the PUCL Podcast. PUCL, of course, is the name that stands for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything from Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. We are also the longest running Pokemon podcast. I think we could officially get to claim that now.
Yeah.
Why would you be claiming that before?
So I used to, okay. So I used to claim it much more frequently back in the day. But Bulba Garden got on us when we claimed that once.
Oh.
Yeah, they really got on us. They were just like, well, we have a podcast, and they would release once a month, maybe once every 2 months or something like that.
Oh, very.
And they're like, we've been going longer than you. And I was like, no.
Did they start in 2007 too?
I think they might have started before 2007, because it might have been before podcast. 2007, podcast was really weird. Because podcasting didn't really become a thing until about 2005, actually as a term. And so being a podcast in 2007 was very, very fresh. And some people did, it was it's like Smosh doing video content before YouTube. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's a very similar idea. It's a very similar idea.
Okay. But are they still running?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I have one sanity check, and he'll really appreciate it because I'll say it to him right now on air. But Pokemon Crossroads is my sanity check for all things Pokemon podcasting. To know if a podcast is legit, I just go to see if Mikey actually listens to them. Because he is in my opinion the definitive expert on Pokemon podcasts because he spends so much time listening to them.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate him. So Bulba Garden's not on that list. We're on that list. Bulba Garden's not. So I would say we're probably the longest running
podcast.
Pokemon podcast, not podcast. Don't say podcast, but Pokemon podcast for sure.
Podcast. You gotta escalate it. This time around, you just have to lie there, Thatch. That's how you get up. That's how you get through it. All the noise. Just lie. Yeah, it's all about the clicks.
Yeah, it's all about the clicks.
At that point, we are the best Pokemon podcast.
We are. We absolutely are.
We started this podcast before Pokemon was a thing.
Okay.
Welcome to the PUCL Podcast. The Pokemon Underground Champions League started in 1991. What have we done in Pokemon lately? I've got a little bit to talk about, but I don't want to overshadow.
I started again. TCG Pocket.
Pocket,
yeah. All my my old.
Speaking of which, I have to do that for the day.
Oh.
My old Pokemon friends so I have a group of friends, or we're 4 of us that we've remained friendship since middle school, even earlier than that, a couple of them. And we used to do our own little Pokemon thing back in the day in middle school and high school, and we had our own Pokemon League and all that, but we remained touched. Now they fell off. I didn't. Now we've come to, I've came back to TCG Pocket because we've got to the point where they are all playing it and I wasn't. And I'm like, what is this? What kind of bizarro world we live in where I'm the one not playing Pokemon with them and they're playing Pokemon. So, I just got back on that. So, that's basically it. It's just, I am waiting so impatiently for Pokemon Legends. I even forgot the name. AC?
Z to A? ZA.
Yeah.
ZA.
Yeah. I just can't wait for that to come because I
Za.
want to play Pokemon.
I want to imagine it's pronounced Za. I want to imagine it's Za. I like it probably isn't. It's ZA obviously, but
Yeah.
I really want to pronounce it Za. Like
was
pizza,
meaning
you know,
by
like
a
slang
fresh
for pizza.
pack of Za. So that
Yeah,
was what Kendrick was talking about.
I just got a slice of Za in, you know, like that's what I'm really here for. Like I got a slice of Za. You know, that's the whole point. We're doing it all for that one joke.
All right, I'm gonna have to make a pizza now that has a Pokemon on it and say, "Hey, I'm playing Pokemon Za."
Pokemon Za. Yeah, exactly. I'm Pokemon Za. That sounds like some short form content there, Clod.
Right. Ooh. All right. Yeah. The Clod.
You can shorten it even more, right? You can shorten it even more to say it's some pizza, and then you're back
It's
to square one.
P.za for Pokemon Za.
P.za. Oh my gosh.
This is how we get all the likes.
Yeah. This is how that works. I think. Yeah.
This is how we farm everything. It's great.
That's gonna be really good content here in the near future. But yeah, I don't know, Clod. You've been doing anything? I know you're watching EUIC.
Yes.
But
yes, I'm still currently watching EUIC as we do this because why not?
Yeah.
But I've been, you know, despite me like disappearing for, you know, on the podcast for a while I'm in a show and didn't have time off.
Yeah.
I did the Puckle Badge Bonanza last week. I decided I didn't realize that there was a ladder portion of it too you could do. I thought it was only people in the Discord. And I'm like, gosh, there's no one participating in this. And like I got through like 9 matches and I'm like, wait, let me read the rules again. I'm like, oh, I can just hit 1500. Oh gosh. All right. So I spent last week just like, all right, let's see how fast I can do this.
Just grinding.
Yeah. It took about 60-ish games, and I'm a little disappointed with myself that it took that long to hit 1500, but
it's fine.
It took me a while to find a team I really liked.
I gave up because I haven't figured out the meta that well. For those of you at home, Puckle Badge Bonanza this month is OU. So you go with the ladder, you could get hit. I think it was just play 25 games, you get the silver, and if you hit 1500, you can get the gold. Now this is important if you're. Yeah, it's very important for you if when you're doing the Puckle Badge Bonanza that you are. Like the reason there's a difference between gold and silver is one, you hit a higher achievement. We have a bot on the Discord where you can actually like show off your badge case. It's very cool. But each of the badges like have a point value. A silver badge has a 1 point value and a gold badge has a 2 point value. And if you end up hitting something like I think we said that like 15 points or something throughout the year through the Puckle Badge Bonanza. So every month there's a silver and a gold to collect. If you hit 15 points, we're going to have a pin for you to like a physical pin for you to win in the domestic, or not in the domestic, but in the United States. I apologize for everybody internationally. I'll send it to you if you pay for the shipping. Right. But in the United States, we'll send you a pin just for participating and hitting that 15 point threshold.
I was trying to do it playing only Puckle people, but you know, after playing through like 9 games in like 2 weeks, because there weren't many people doing it besides like myself and Gigasaurus, who have played it like 3 times. I was like, all right, let me go try the ladder. And I'm like, all right, I need to just find a team that I like. And I found a team. And the moment I found that team, it's like, all right, cool. We're going from 1200 to 1400. And then 1400 to 1500 was like, all right, I have to actually think about all my plays now. And
yeah, that's how it works.
A lot longer than I wanted it to be, but we got there. We're good. And now we're set. We're waiting for next month, because I have a feeling that Pokemon Day is going to change Puckle Badge Bonanza slightly, but depending on what gets released and when it gets released.
Yeah, I think it's going to change the schedule for sure.
Exactly.
We'll talk about this. Yeah. We'll talk about it in the topic today, because I don't want to ruin all of our Pokemon Day speculation. But
no. And so I was like, well, I'm not sure if the schedule for Badge Bonanza is out, but I think next month this was supposed to be Mystery Dungeon, depending on unless something changes with Pokemon Day. And I'm like, all right, let me see if I can figure out which game I want to play. How do I want to play it? Don't want to stream any of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Prepare stuff of that beforehand, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll figure that out. I can't start until I know what happens for Pokemon Day, but we'll talk much more about that later.
I'm all for it. Yeah. So, yeah, for me, I just got back into the TCG this week. Like, I went and I started building decks. I know it doesn't matter because rotation's like a month away. but I went and did that. I ended up selling a bunch of cards again and doing way too well again. I was like shocked because like Pokemon's at like a peak right now in terms of value.
Yep.
Because this happens like once every 3 or 4 years. Like people get like really hyped. They remember Pokemon exists as a card game, or like Pokemon cards exist, and so like they get bought out, and you know it's fine. But that means that like
it's
all
just
of
the new set, right? That's
no, you
Pokemon?
can't find Surging Sparks. You can't find Prismatic Evolutions.
Really?
Journeys Together got sold out way faster than other sets have previously in pre-orders.
Is that the one with the Furret, or is that the one after that is the Furret?
I don't know where the Furret's not what defines Journey Together. Journey Together is the trainer Pokemon.
Yeah, I know, but it's randomly part of one of these sets that's coming out.
I believe you. There's a Furret in one of these sets. I don't know which one.
You didn't see the new Furret that's coming out? That's like all pretty and happy? Oh my gosh.
No, I have not seen it.
Oh. Yeah, this was leaked. Not leaked, but it was shown through something. I posted it in the TCG chat. I'm going to find it again. But there's a new Furret card coming, and it makes me so happy. And I'm going to just share it with Thatch because I think it's wonderful.
No, share it. I'll put it on the video version of the show.
Yeah.
But
this was a while ago too that they announced. I think on the Poke Beach they sent it out, or that's where they did it. But it's so cute. I don't know which set it's coming in, but it's there, and it makes me happy, and I want it, and I'm going to have to get like several of them.
Let's see. Let me get it. Let me open the image in a browser or something. But there we go. So yeah. Let me pull it up. But yeah. The Furret is. I mean, it's a cute card. I agree with you. I don't know what else to tell you.
Hey, I'm gonna want it in normal. I'm gonna want it in like a PSA 10 version of it because I'm nuts. And
you are nuts. Yeah.
Thank you.
I do agree with that. I would agree with you.
Oh,
being
it's
nuts.
in the battle. It's in the Japanese battle partner pack. So that's Journey Together, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. But
whatever set just got released for Japan.
Japan.
It's in that set.
Oh, it does say Scarlet Violet 9 on the bottom. So yeah, that's probably Journey Together.
Yes.
That's Journey Together.
Wonderful. Yeah. All right. So hey,
That's
in
Journey
Japan
Together.
it's going for $4 right now.
Yeah, it's not gonna go for $4 in the US. I'll tell you that much.
No, it's gonna go for probably less.
I don't know, man. Things have been weird over here lately.
Doesn't matter. It's mine.
Like
my baby boy.
in the
It's gonna be wonderful.
Prismatic Evolutions and to a lesser extent Surging Sparks kind of like ruined it for like just casual collecting. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird. But I'm not happy about it. I'm hoping like I'm gonna have to go like wait at my LGS like the day they get Journey Together and like stand out front of it before they open to be able to get like a booster box. It's gonna be gross. I'm not looking forward to it.
Pick specific things that I want from it.
That's what I'll probably do, but I like opening it. One, because I like to have like a little bit of bulk of each set, just so I have like if I'm like, oh, I need one card from this set or something. Like some card becomes like stupid good that you need like a one of in a deck. Like I'm not thinking of like the Budu from Prismatic Evolutions, but like an example of this would be in Prismatic Evolutions, there's a Regigigas. And the Regigigas actually sees play in like modern Lugia builds. And granted, Lugia is not good for in like a month. Like it doesn't exist in a month. But in Lugia Veeb decks, like they play a lot of that. And yeah, I mean, I would like to just have bulk so I could be like, oh, I have the Regigigas, you know, and not have to go out and buy it.
Fair.
That's the kind of stuff I like because like eventually, like every once in a while, there's like a 25-cent card that's just like good for a hot second. And I just like having that available to me. I also just like opening the packs, right? Like I like being able to pull like the Furret or something cute because they're doing really well with the illustrations and everything. I think the way the Pokemon TCG packs are structured right now is done so well and so healthy.
I can't wait. If people pull that Furret and don't want it, let me know. We will talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah. But yeah. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to cut us off there. We have some news to talk about, so we're going to cue that epic music. Welcome to the news. In the news, we've got a few things to talk about. First being, this is more of a general Nintendo story, but Nintendo is discontinuing gold points ahead of the Switch 2 launch. The gold points will, if you can still gain them from physical games that you purchase up until March 25th, I believe, or 24th. You can probably still earn them through buying things on the eShop, but you will be able to go ahead and still use those coins until March 25th, or 24th, 2026 or so, I believe. So they're not shutting down the program entirely, but they are obviously going to switch to something when the Switch 2 comes out.
Right.
This makes me worry a little bit about Switch Online. I kind of hope Switch Online stays Switch Online. My biggest peeve with Nintendo has been that lately, whenever they switch console generations, their retro games just kind of get reset. And I'm not very happy about that. You know what I mean? I'd rather them just not reset their retro games every single time. It's so frustrating. It is just the worst thing in the world. I hate it.
It's like Groundhog Day every time.
Yeah.
There's a console.
Yeah.
They start
Absolutely
releasing
agree.
the same games and not in a quick pace.
Absolutely agree.
And it's just tiring now.
Absolutely agree. But yeah, if you want to get your gold points, go get them. General Nintendo news for you. In much better news, you can get this sleeping Totodile plush that's probably going to show up at Target soon. I have to buy this. As soon as I see it, I'm buying it.
If you don't.
Yeah, I have to buy it. This is going to go in the background of the stream and video podcast. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to buy this. No, I'm going to buy this. There's just no way that I don't buy this. I will buy this.
Adorable.
It's adorable. It is adorable. Absolutely. So yeah, if you want the sleeping Totodile, much like I do, it should be at Target soon. So check it out. Additionally, if you play Pokemon Unite and you're not in China, well, that kind of sucks. They're getting a chess-like feature.
An auto chess thing. And I've seen the streams of it, and I'm so jealous. I want it so badly.
In China, yeah. It's in China, which Tencent is in China, and I'm unsurprised it's being used there first. My only concern is there's still stuff that's Pokemon only in China still. Outside of that, Pokemon Quest has been getting updated. I think it's done getting updated, but it was getting updated for the longest time in China.
Yeah. So I was talking to a friend of mine who's still playing Pokemon Unite. He's a little bit more in touch on what it is of it. And he was telling me that, Tencent, that Unite in China is something else. Most people that game here are used to getting all the stuff. Because that's where video games started. But in the case of Unite and all these Chinese video games, China's way ahead in the stuff that their games have, that we're just getting we're 3 updates, 4 updates behind.
I believe that. I believe it.
So Unite in the US is a side gig for Tencent.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Granted, I do think if they bring the auto chess thing, they could even make that their own separate game.
Yeah, they could. No, they absolutely could, right?
What is the auto chess? Explain that for those who don't know.
So an auto chess game is basically where you put little pieces onto a board, and they do all the fighting for you. So it's much more strategy based.
Yeah.
So if you think about a normal chessboard, and the only easy way I have to describe it from the auto chess games I've played is you have a store of pieces that you can buy, and you buy your pieces, you put them on the board, and they have different, usually classes or features or traits that when multiple of the same traits are out there, they activate, give them a little boost, and they fight against your opponent's pieces. So it's much more of a strategy based game than it is an actual fighting Pokemon game.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I love it. It's gonna be a blast if it comes here. I'm very excited for it if it comes here.
If that happens, it's all right, cool. I now have to go and compete to be the very best in the entire world, and just because it's Pokemon, you have to.
It does say that it will be gradually implemented to the worldwide version of the game.
Yep.
So it is coming.
Granted, they could make their own separate game of it, and it would do just as well.
Yeah, it would.
Probably better, arguably, than Pokemon Unite, but
My only problem
it's a
with,
MOBA.
every time they add a feature in Pokemon Unite is that it never is a ranking. It's always like a mini game.
Yeah, if it's just
yeah.
like
Like
a
a
game, I'm
right.
gonna be sad because like
Right.
Yeah.
that's half the fun is being able to grow and compete and push for higher ranks.
Yeah.
Right. I was super excited when they were saying like, "Oh, we're gonna put a smaller time frame game. We're gonna lower the time from 10 to 5 minutes or something like that." And I'm like, "Oh, yes, that's what I needed in Unite because those games feel like they take forever."
Yeah.
And then they did it, but it has no rank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, why would I play this?"
Yeah, I get you. All right. Well, we're going to move on to nobody's surprise in the news. They announced a Pokemon Presents next week or this week, I should say, not next week, but this week on Thursday, February 27th, which is Pokemon Day. Pokemon Day will have a Pokemon Presents to nobody's surprise, right? And we're going to talk more about this, obviously, about what we want from it. There is a chance, I still honestly haven't decided, but there is a chance I will probably stream some of it that day. So definitely watch out for the PUCL socials and the PUCL channels. I will probably stream some of the reactions to this and do some preliminary discussion about it on stream. So definitely, if we don't do it, we'll probably still do it at some point that day. But I'm definitely considering it. So yeah, that is news for that. There's some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news though, and so Jushiro, you've got this.
Let's do this. Okay, so in Scarlet and Violet, Walking Wake and Iron Leaves are back in raids through Pokemon Day.
Yay!
Again, exciting.
You can't catch another one if you've already caught it, unfortunately.
Right.
But
You can?
Really?
no, you can only catch one per save file, and even if they come back, it does not count as like a reset for that. It is always one per save file. Yeah.
That's annoying.
Well,
Isn't it though?
Okay.
Isn't it?
okay. This coming
Jushiro's
weekend
like,
is,
I guess,
yeah, sure. This coming weekend is another global challenge. Register before Thursday night if you want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Smogon. Oh, go ahead.
Well, if you're not familiar with the global challenge, for those of you that you can actually earn championship points by playing online, essentially. So you go in there, you open the Poke Portal, you select Battle Stadium, online competitions, and you search for the competition. You'll find it. As long as you play 3 matches, you get 100,000 league points, a gold bottle cap, and an ability patch, which is nice. That's something. Mm-hmm. But if you do well enough in it, you can actually get some championship points towards your world's qualification. Though they're trying to do something where, like, if you get X number of points anyway, you get something. I don't know if they ever figured out what that is in Play Pokemon, but yeah, they say they're going to do something. So we'll see, I guess.
Right. Smogon has made an official statement that there will be no banning Terrealization this generation in OU or in lower tiers.
Okay.
Which is interesting because they've always been banning everything.
No, they've only banned, the only mechanic they've ever banned was Dynamax.
That one was explainable though.
That one made sense. Yeah. Dynamax was not balanced for singles 6v6 at all.
No.
Or singles, honestly. It was not balanced.
No, it was not
well
balanced for singles.
But it was pretty decent in doubles. But that makes sense to me. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
I am unshocked by this.
Yeah. All right. Pokemon Go news. A Totodile Community Day rerun is set for March 22nd. Thatch, get ready.
Oh man, I already have one though.
Yeah, but you need more.
The number one thing that happens whenever I meet like somebody, whenever I meet somebody in person, is they always want to like give me like their shiny Totodile or something on Pokemon Go. And it's just like, that's okay. You don't have to do that. I appreciate the gesture, but like, you don't have to do it. But yeah, I've had plenty of shiny Totodile, it turns out, on Pokemon Go.
Right.
Yeah, but I appreciate it.
The Global Unova Tour is this weekend. You can pay for Shiny Meloetta Research or the event pass that lets you earn another Victini. The Kyurem Fusion will also be in raids. Regionals will be 5K and 10K eggs. 10K has the good stuff like Maractus, Buffalant, and Sigilyph. This is all in the lead up to the Go Tour. This week will feature different legendary raids each day. So there's your Go news for the few people that listen that play Go.
I play Go occasionally.
Sure.
When I can, and when it's not cold outside.
Usually when I travel.
When I travel, I always open it up. I do always open it up when I travel. But yeah. I think there's a couple things on the TCG side. TCG Live updated, by the way, for all of you at home. So you can go ahead and do that. You could do the update. It's pretty nice quality of life. They take the last prize card now for you automatically. You don't have to click on it, which feels like DMing a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Why does it always feel like Nintendo franchise? Because I don't clearly that's not made by Nintendo, but Pokemon suffers from the same thing Nintendo does, where it's like every time it's an update they should have done like 5 years ago.
Right. No, they made it exactly. They made it exactly just like what it used to be on PTCGO. So like we waited this long for PTCGO to come back.
Right.
The like, card craft they did it
to be basic stuff.
They did announce that with the upcoming sets, it's going to be impossible to craft cards outside of the set number. And for those of you at home who don't know what that means, if you look at the bottom of your card, there's set numbers. You'll have each card will be like 135 out of 191 or something like that. But there are always cards that are above that. There's like the Ferret we talked about earlier today is like 110 out of 100. I think they want you to open packs. I think they want you to open packs to get the bling cards. Within 6 months, you can do it. 6 months after the set comes out, you can just like craft them, but it does take 6 months. You have to wait 6 months.
I don't like that, but
it's on TCG Live, so like I don't know that I care, honestly. And I like fine. I won't waste the points on like a full art. Sure, whatever, it's fine. I'll waste my points on crafting the whole base set so that everything I get is just extra points when I open the packs if it's not a shiny card.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's all. I mean, it's frustrating, but it is what it is, right?
Yep.
And then finally, I think there's like a couple. I should note that a big tournament in Japan, which has already seen rotation, had a Feraligatr deck win. This is important.
This is your important year.
I'm gonna build that deck actually. I already have the list.
I'm surprised you haven't.
It's because it's just like such a stupid reason. But so I sprained my ankle pretty badly. So I actually have to wear a boot. Like one of like the boots to like restrain your ankle. Yeah. And so going up and down stairs in my house is it's like it's a commitment now, right?
Welcome to old age.
Yep. It's a commitment to go up and down stairs. And so all my bulk where my Feraligatrs and Totodiles are right now are in the basement. So like I have to commit to going to the basement to go get them to build the deck, which is I have it on live. I have it built on TCG Live. And I've played around with it. It's not good right now because part of the reason it's good is because it's good post rotation.
Yep.
But like post rotation metas are always a lot of fun because they're usually just super clunky. And nothing
Everyone's
really
figuring
works.
things out.
Yeah. And so you can get away with nonsense like this.
Guys, about Puckle Podcast, you're able to listen a Pokemon fan go from a teen that knows nothing to a person that has trouble going up and down the stairs.
It's only for hopefully a couple more days. Like I have an appointment. My follow-up appointment is in like 3 days. And hopefully they tell me I'm done with the boot and I can start running again. That's all I want to know because I miss running,
I started watching wrestling again because it's kind of good now, even though it's sponsored by the worst game on earth. But I started watching wrestling again, and every time I see those bumps, I'm like, if that happens to me, I break in million pieces like glass. My body would not even be able to take one of those. It's just hilarious. Anyway, continue on.
Finally, Wo-Chien's News Corner, news brought to you at a snail's pace. 10 years ago this week, the hidden ability Johto starters were released in Pokemon Bank, and Clements Luxio evolved into a Luxray in the anime. There was also an Eon ticket code in the West for people who somehow failed to get it by just connecting to the internet. So, no, I remember the Eon ticket. The Eon ticket was pretty hype. I love the way they distributed
I remember that.
It was really cool. I really like the way they did it. It made me Street Pass a ton. Like, it got me into Street Pass, actually, entirely.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So that is the news this week. That means we're going to go ahead and kick things on over to our Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge. Welcome to Puckle's Poke Quiz. Thank you for that introduction, Mark. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into it. We're going to go and check it out. First of all, Professor Oak tells you it's Poke Quiz time, and we're all happy and love that. I need to maybe make that slide a little bit different. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our first question, which is always a general trivia question. So our first question for you guys is going to come to you from Rock Rough Rider. And Rock Rough Rider wants to know, what is the only Pokemon to be used by both of Unova's champions in their champion battle? And by champions, we're referring to Alder in Black and White and Iris in Black and White 2. What is the only Pokemon to be used by both of the champions?
Well, it kind of has to be a dragon type. I think. I think Iris only had dragons. Well, don't remember the... Oh, this is the game I probably played the least.
Yeah, I haven't played Black and White in a long minute.
Something is... who was the dragon from that game? Was it Haxorus?
There is the Haxorus, but if I think
Also
of Haxorus,
Hydreigon?
Hydreigon, yeah. The other one is the basic dragon that doesn't evolve. It looks kind of janky. I forgot its name.
Druddigon?
Druddigon. Isn't he from that generation too?
Yep.
For whatever reason, he's the one that comes to mind. I don't know if it's correct, but he's the one. Because I feel like Haxion, it's very much tied to her.
Yeah, I think Druddigon's a great call on that.
Yeah, let's go with
Druddigon.
Yeah, let's do Druddigon.
You guys are going to be happy because Druddigon is correct.
Yeah.
Druddigon is the answer. Yeah. So good for you guys. All right. Our next question is another general trivia question. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to ask it. This is from Princess Petrarunt. I love the name.
Mm-hmm.
What type maintained the same number of overall Pokemon in a generation transition? So like when we went from generation 1 to 2 or like 5 to 6, what type maintained the same number of Pokemon?
What?
So if you go from one generation to another, when we added Pokemon, one type maintained the same total number of Pokemon in that type.
Okay.
So
from one generation.
So that means between generations, no new types of that Pokemon were added, or just in the regional deck?
Not exactly. No, not exactly. I
don't understand the question.
Then I do. I think it means that maybe when they introduce a new type, they went back and changed some of the old ones, maintaining the amount alongside with the new ones of the previous type on the new generation. Did that make any sort of sense?
That's exactly correct, Jushiro.
Then my answer would be normal.
In
Gen 6. Yeah, when normal turned to fairy, I think normal stayed the same because they added a bunch in Gen 6.
Is that what you're going to go with?
And we lost at least 3. Could be wrong now on that.
I'm gonna go ahead. Are we gonna lock in normal?
That's the only thing I can think off the top of my head. I know a lot of normal switch to fairy, but
I just need the type. I don't even need to know why it happened. I just need the type.
I think it's normal. I could be wrong though.
Let's go normal.
It could be something else. Okay.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yep.
Normal is correct.
Yes!
Yeah, it is the generational transition from Gen 5 to 6. A lot of normal type Pokemon got retconned as fairy types.
I think I thought of 5. I couldn't think of past.
Yeah, and
Clefairy and Snubble.
So Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff kept their normal type, but Snubble, Granbull.
Clefairy lost the normal type.
Yeah, and Clefairy. That's 5 Pokemon right there. Snubble in the Clefairy line, right? Then all of the new normal type Pokemon that were added in Generation 6 maintain that number that replaced the number that we lost. So So normal is the correct answer. So you guys are 2 for 2. You're doing pretty well. We're about to enter into our third question, which is our Pokedex entry question. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into it. You do have 2 chances at this. So this entry, or these entries, I should say, are from That Chespin Dude. So let's see if we can get 2 points by getting it on the first try. This first entry is going to come to you from Pokemon Scarlet. And it says, it is actually timid and easily spooked. If attacked, it desperately flails its limbs about in an attempt to repel its opponent.
Repeat it one more time.
It is actually timid and easily spooked. If attacked, it desperately flails its limbs about in an attempt to repel its opponent. Who's that Pokemon?
Gosh, I have no idea.
It's limbs. It's cowardly. It's timid. Wow. That kind of covers a lot of them.
Yeah. The fact that it said limbs versus like arms.
Right. Means that it might have like.
I don't know why my mind was going to like.
I'm going to need something here, guys.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. My thought was like Tangela, but I think it wouldn't be that.
No,
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. I'd say
what's the octopus, boxer octopus name? The basic.
Clobopus, or are you looking at Graplocked?
This is from Pokemon Scarlet. Scarlet. Well, it doesn't mean it's a Gen 9 Pokemon, but you guys are about to go down the Graplock path, which is not available in that game. Yes.
Okay.
I forgot that Scarlet.
I don't want you guys to make a rookie mistake, okay? I got called out last week in the YouTube comments for forgetting Rampardos existed for 30 seconds, okay? So
I remember Rampardos.
It's
anyway,
fine.
limbs.
Scarlet and Violet with limbs?
Man.
Oh, watch it be like Orthworm or something.
Yep, let's go with that. I got nothing.
Orthworm?
Yeah,
Orthworm's incorrect. We're going to move on to your next entry. Your next
it doesn't
entry.
have limbs.
Your next entry is going to come from Pokemon Emerald.
Oh gosh. Okay, so we're way off.
This is from Pokemon Emerald. So it has a particularly well-developed lower jaw. The huge fangs are heavy, causing it to tilt its head. Unless it's startled, it will try to bite. It will not try to bite.
Yeah.
This is Granbull.
Yep.
Granbull? Is that your answer?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Lower
absolutely
developed jaw
correct. That is Granbull.
Emerald, yeah.
That is Granbull. That is 3 for 3 for you guys. You guys are almost perfect score. You didn't have to use the hint yet. So your next question is your multiple answer question.
Yay.
Which is what we always use, the multi-answer question. There are, I believe, on this question, 5 answers. So what we're going to do, the way we're going to scale it is for the first 2 you give me, that's a point. For the second 2 you give me, that's another point. Or maybe there's 4 answers. And then for the next one, there are, I actually need to start putting in the slide how many answers there are. But there are I believe there are 4 answers here. So for the first 2, I'll give you a point. For the next one, I'll give you a point. And for the final one, I'll give you another point. All right. So this one is from Deacon Cheese. What types do not have a purely monotype 3-stage line? You do have to lock these in with me. Do you have to lock these in?
Flying?
Yep.
Flying is correct. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah,
that's great.
Flying.
All right, let me write this down in my head as I'm doing this. It's not grass. Is it grass?
No,
it's not grass.
No.
It's not fire. It's not water. It's
that
we
is
already
correct.
said flying. It's not normal. Cannot be normal. Bug. Is there just a bug 3 line?
That could be one. Yeah, I don't recall a 3-line bugs that stays just bug.
Okay, well, let's keep that for now. There's definitely electric. There's definitely rock.
Yep.
Is there 3-stage ground?
I'm thinking. I cannot recall, but I'm not sure.
Neither can I off the top of my head. But all right, so so far we have bug and
there
ground
are
as
5
possibilities.
answers. I was wrong. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Okay.
There are 5 answers. I misspoke. There are 5 answers.
There is 3 dragon Haxorus.
All right, Haxorus.
Is there a 3-stage ice? That's just pure. Yes, there is. What am I thinking? There's that. Is there a 3-stage ghost? Yes. Is there a 3-stage dark?
No.
No?
Not that I can think of. So bug,
Alright, so
ground,
darks.
dark.
Those are options. I just want to go through all the types in my head.
Yeah,
I need you guys to start locking in some answers. I need you guys to start.
Let's start with bug.
Bug is correct. That is 1 point. You have bug and flying.
So we think dark
going.
ground right now. I don't. It's not fairy. It's not electric. I forgot all
let's
the
go with
types I missed.
ground.
Ground.
Are you locking that in? Ground?
Yeah.
Ground is correct. That is another one. Yeah.
Okay.
There are 2 more technically, but I'll give you all 3 points if you give me 1 more.
I think dark. I can't think of another dark. And I'm trying to think of what's the type I'm missing. Because I know there's steel. I know there's rock.
Is there 3-stage steel?
Yeah, clink clang line.
Oh, forgot about clink clang. Yeah.
Poison. I should know this.
Oh, that I don't think there's a 3-stage poison for sure.
Give me a second. I have to go through my list of poison types.
Not mono, right?
That's something of mono poison. Like
yeah.
Poison could be it
with
too.
something else.
There are 2 of them, so.
So I think dark and poison are the 2 left that we haven't said or thought of.
So you're gonna throw one of those at me?
Yeah, let's try poison. Poison sounds more correct than dark. Yeah.
Poison is correct.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know that you guys actually
dark.
The last one is in fact dark. Yeah.
Hey!
There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
So you guys got 3 points there. Good for you. I believe in
I'm getting
in you.
good at this.
Yeah, Jushiro, you are definitely improving. That is for sure.
I am.
All right, your final question is your base stat question, as always. So we're going to jump right into that. This one is going to come to you from Reptile. You guys do have the hint as well, don't forget. But this is from Reptile.
No hints.
Reptile,
no hints. We got this.
You are at 6 points. So Reptile wants to know which Pokemon with the bulletproof ability has the lowest base special defense. Which Pokemon with the bulletproof ability has the lowest base special defense?
This is where I crash and burn.
The questions are getting like these base stat questions have been ramping up on the Discord. Like the complexity is getting pretty intense. They're just like, which Pokemon on a Thursday is actually the strongest?
Right. On a blue moon.
All right, so let's start with Pokemon that can have bulletproof as an ability. You have.
I don't even recall many of them.
The Como-O, Jangmo-O, that whole line.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You have the Chespin line. I think Ursaluna can get bulletproof.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it can get bulletproof. Wooloo and Dubwool can get bulletproof. And
okay.
I don't know if there's one more outside of that.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
And this is just the Pokemon, so it can be like a base stage, by the way, just so for your reference.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. It's because, like, I think
you got to play Little Cup. That's all. That's what's gonna happen. You got to play Little Cup.
And I do. I'm trying to think of like, because someone that's not used in Little Cup is the problem.
You got to play Little Cup.
Oh God. Well, see, and this is the problem though, because I know that. What's it? The Jangmo-O, Chespin, and Wooloo, who I've mentioned, all have 45 base special defense.
How do you keep this information in your brain?
I don't know, but I remember I'm like, oh, they all fit in my little box in my head. Like, oh, okay.
What a
so
weird
the answer is it's
tidbit
not
to
one
know.
of those.
Right.
What a weird tidbit.
Well, there was something about like 45 reaching a certain point in
stats at level 5. Yeah.
And like there was something like, oh, all right, so all these were fitting in my blocks. I remember doing a calc against. I fought a team that had all 3 of these. That's why I know this.
Well, you're gonna have to choose one because I am.
Oh, no, the answer is
one.
it's not any of them. So it's something else that I'm missing. Is the problem.
Who else has bulletproof? I wish I could help you with this question, but I do not recall who has bulletproof.
Who else is bulletproof.
I don't know. A flak jacket comes to mind every time.
We're gonna have to use the hint, I think.
Yeah, hint away.
This is a dual type dragon Pokemon. I will tell you it's not Jangmo-o.
Well, I mean, that first one's only base dragon anyway, so.
It's a dual type dragon.
Is it Applin?
It does evolve twice. It could evolve twice.
It is Applin. Then with that answer, it could. Then yes, it's Applin. It's the only one that matches, at least in my brain.
Is Applin your answer?
What is Applin's base special?
Let's Clod decide.
I'm gonna need an answer, guys. I need an answer, guys. I need an answer.
Oh, let's go with Applin. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Applin.
Yeah, Applin is. Let's see here. I gotta go to the next slide. Applin is correct. Yeah, base 40. Base 40. Chespin, Jangmo-o, and Wooloo are all in the honorable
45.
mentions with 45.
Yeah,
you did get that. I was surprised you got that because I put the slide together this morning with all of them on it, and I was like,
I recently played a draft Little Cup match against all three of these, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're all at 45. That's fun.
Yeah. So that
what
gives you guys 7 points today.
45 that I was looking at.
That gives you guys a that gives you a good amount, though. What was the 45
number that it had?
Where did he
He's
go?
still stuck on
there
that.
it is. I understand why he is. I'm frustrated. I would be frustrated by that
45
too.
hits 14 base, or if it's special defense, it's 15.
I totally get it.
And it's almost all max. I'm like, all right, so it hits 14 or 15. I knew 45 was on. They all hit that 14-15 split between plus and minus nature.
Wow, Jushiro, I think this is the most number of points I've ever seen you have. I'm not gonna lie. I legitimately think this is the most. I think this is the most points I've ever seen you have in any trivia run.
I'm getting
even if we were playing by the old rules, you would be in the running to actually win.
See, guys. Just keep trying, and eventually you get decent at something.
It turns out all you have to do is be on the show. All right, so in first place we have Sigma with 27 points. In second place we have Jushiro with 25 points. Yeah, you're in the running, Jushiro. Right now you're in the final four, Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. In third place we've got Seth Vila with 23. In fourth, we've got Clod 9 with 21. What? Yeah. How? We do. I don't know. We do. Right. I think it was because we started in December, so you were on the show a lot in December. So you got some points there.
Cool.
In fifth place, we got Linian with 16. In sixth place, we've got Sublime with 15. In seventh, we've got Whimsicott with 14. Eighth, Shark with 12. And ninth, Bocephus with 5. And that's where we stand right now. It's a race to see who's in the top 4 by the end of November, because we like to do the Tournament of Champions as our Christmas episode. So with that, guys, we are going to go ahead and kick it on over to our topic. Let's just do that. Topic time. Welcome to our topic. Our topic today is Pokemon Day 2025 predictions. So what I've gone ahead and done, I want to do this a little bit differently than we would typically do our prediction shows in the past. For our prediction shows, we usually just talk about what we hope, what we dream about, what we know is probably going to happen. And we'll do that a little bit here as well. But what I really want to do is I kind of want to run this like a football pregame show, where the host of the show actually go around and they discuss what their predictions are about a specific topic that happened during the game. And I want to do the same thing. I want to talk about what we think is the likelihood of things happening on Pokemon Day, or because we're going to have nuances there, right? We're going to feel different chances, different things have different chances of happening. I think last year that was going to be more apparent, but this year it's not as apparent.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this. I'll go first, obviously, and then like we'll have Clod and then Jushiro, and then we'll have the discussion. But I want to go ahead and do that. So I've put together a nice spreadsheet for those of you online watching the video version. You can actually see the spreadsheet where we write down our descriptions, and I'll actually post the link to this in the show notes and in the YouTube description as well, so that you guys can actually see our predictions and see if we were right. We probably aren't. I think the first one I want to bring up, and I think this is a very straightforward one, and we can all say yes, is do we think there's going to be a ZA trailer? I believe there will be, obviously. Yes. Yeah. Like, it's just going to happen, right? Like yes, hard yes. It's just going to happen. Like, there's going to be one. Jushiro, you agree?
It's the only real thing that you can put in on paper.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's going to happen. It's just solid.
Absolutely. Like, there's no chance that doesn't happen. Right, it has to happen. Like it's going to happen. So this is the next one. We're going to get into a little bit of nitty gritty about the ZA trailer, right? The Legend ZA trailer. So I have a couple different things about it that I'm curious if you guys think we'll end up getting it or not. So the first one is a release date. Do we think we're going to get like a hard release date or a time frame? I think at minimum we'll get a time frame, right?
I think we'll get like fall 2025 or something crazy like that.
My honest prediction for the release date is probably somewhere in like June. Like that's like I believe June's gonna happen. That's what I'm gonna write down for myself. I believe they're gonna say like June. Maybe they give us a number, like an actual day, like one of the Fridays and day. But I think June time frame is probably what it's gonna be based on like TCG sets and stuff like that, and the releases in Japan.
I can see that.
I'm saying like June, and I think yes, they'll mention it.
Right. I think we're too close to it for them to not give it a specific date.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They might still not, right? But we are really cutting it real close for them not to set up a specific date for CA.
Yep.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree with you. So do you guys say yes? Do you think they're going to give us an actual date? Yes, actual date.
Yeah.
I can see an actual date, sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's possible. I think that's very realistic. And like I said, I think it's going to be probably June timeframe because like we have some TCG sets coming out in Japan that have reference Mega Evolution near the end of the summer. So it's like the third set of the year rather than.
Although we shouldn't take those as clues all the time because they have been mismatched sometimes.
No, they certainly have. And I would agree with you if we didn't know. So when they've been mismatched in the past, in my opinion, when like the TCG sets have said something weird that we didn't pick up on, like there were sets that were like Unova based a few years ago, or even like, and people thought we were going to get Unova remakes, right?
Right.
That's fine because I think predicting a game off of that is not smart. I think predicting a release date off of that. I think predicting a release date off of that is fair. I think because we know ZA is coming, and it's coming this year, because I did say 2025 when they announced it to us last year. This is wild, by the way, that it's been like a full year since they like announced it. This is wild. This hasn't happened in like recent Pokemon memory, and
provided no extra.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah,
it's coming. Bye.
It's coming. Yeah, we're working on something. We promise.
Yeah,
we're working on something. We promise, guys. We're working on it.
This is definitely the quietest they've been in a long
yes,
while.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But yeah, okay. So the next one, and I think a more contentious category, honestly, for myself even, is the starters. Do you think they'll show us who the starters are in ZA?
No.
Like. You don't think so?
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
If they do a trailer, they will show the starters.
Yes.
They're going to do a trailer, obviously. Yeah. I think they'll show the starters. I think they'll tell us who the starters are. Now the question is, who do you think the starters are? And do you think they're going to be the same format do you think that the starters are going to be the same as like Legends Arceus, where it's just like, here's 3 Pokemon from 3 different generations, which I think is the coolest way to do it, but that's fine. I think it would be, I really wonder if they'll do, if they'll be boring and they'll just give us the Kalos starters.
It's possible.
I think it's possible they just give us the Kalos starters. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Like, I think it would be really cool to give us 3 Pokemon, but instead of giving us regional forms, like which was really hype in Hisui, right? To give us Hisuian forms. I think what's more likely is that they'll probably end up giving us megas of whatever our starters are. And I think it's very clear that you should get megas of the Kalos starters. Like, I think the Kalos starters deserve megas. And I just feel like they're going to give you a Kalos starter to be like, it can mega evolve now. Here you go.
Yep. I can see that too.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, I think it'd be really cool. I really like how they celebrate different generations, and you can disagree, Jushiro. Like, the whole point is to disagree with me.
Yeah. I just think I don't think they're gonna give us all the Kalos. Well, they might, but I'm thinking maybe they will pull the same thing they did on Legends and do multiple. And I'm thinking maybe one from Kalos, one from Gen 3, because that's the generation that was tied in there with the.
See, I think that's like the most boring way to do it, because those already have megas, right? So I think Gen 3, I think even if they went the 3 different starters from 3 different generations route, they won't touch Gen 3. Like, Gen 3 doesn't get representation because it already has a mega. I mean, I could see a world where they go and they give us like, they could give us like a Score Bunny and, you know, another Gen 5 starter or a Gen 2 starter or something like that, right?
I think what I've been hearing is it's going to be a Gen 2 starter, a Gen 5 starter, and then what's it? Gen 3, I think. 253.
That, I think 3 doesn't make sense. Just because because 3 already has megas. Like, they already have them.
Oh, never mind then. You're right.
3 already, like, all 3 Generation 3 starters have megas.
Maybe it's a 2-5. I don't know, 2-4.
I can see 2-4. 2-4. 2-4-5. I really think if
maybe they throw in a 7 or an 8.
I think they throw in an 8. I think they make one of the Generation 8 starters actually lovable. And
like Score Bunny.
Like Score Bunny. Like, I think Score Bunny is like an easy dunk, right? I think you go like, here's Score Bunny. And yeah. I mean, that's my prediction for it if they do it. So are you leaning towards Kalos starters or 3 different generations, Clod? Like, which one do you think it's going to be?
I can see both. I want 3 different generations.
Okay, we're going to put that.
I have a sad feeling that if it's set 2 years after, like the events of XY, it's just going to be the Kalos starters.
Very possible, I think. I think you're very, very correct on that.
I hope I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong.
Yeah, I hope it's in the past. I really like them doing it in the past, but I can see them. I
thought it was set before. I thought it was set after.
We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
But to me,
we have no idea. That's like, just part of the chart. I'm putting this as part of the chart actually now. I'm gonna put it in part of the chart. We're gonna insert a column.
Yeah, I think since the Legends is attached to it, right? But it's still called Pokemon Legends, and that means that it's something that happened in the past. At the very
are we gonna say past or future? Let's say past or future compared to Pokemon XY. I think it's. I want it to be past. It doesn't mean that it will be, but I want it to be.
Yeah. I think it's past, and I think it's about the founding of that city. Forgot its name. Sorry.
Lumio City.
Lumio. I think it's about the founding.
It's not about the founding. They've made that much clear. This is very similar to. Yeah, they say it's like the refurbish is the wrong word, but it's like a renovation of the city. This happened in Paris actually. This is like actually historically relevant.
When in Paris?
In Paris in like the 1800s, which makes me think it's the past as well. Yeah. They actually did refresh the city, where like they did like a whole whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So then, if we get a trailer, which we obviously will, I think we're going to see some gameplay, obviously, like in terms of how the game plays. So I think my question here is, because this is a question I had last week as well on the show, and we didn't really discuss it too much because I wanted to save it for this discussion, is whether or not we think that Pokemon Legends Arceus is going to play the same way that Pokemon Legends ZA is going to play the same way as Pokemon Legends Arceus.
I hope
like,
not. Please no.
And which way do you hope not? I guess
The
Clod?
battling.
Well, obviously, I think the battle system could use a slight rework.
Like,
but
I loved being able to run around and throw Pokeballs and catch Pokemon like super fast like that. Although it is awful.
Yeah, no, the battle system is not great. It is absolutely not the best, right? It's just not the best. I would agree with you. Yeah, yes, but with a different battle system for sure. I think that they struck such gold with the Pokemon Legends Arceus like gameplay loop that it would be really silly of them to not do that. But on the flip side, I could see Legends Legends like the series being where Game Freak gets to kind of go super exploratory and change and change like how each game plays. Like Legends ZA could be the game where instead of like going out and catching wild Pokemon like you did in Legends Arceus, you have to, you collect Pokemon by becoming their friends or something weird. I don't know. I don't like that. I'd much rather just play the action adventure game again, but in a different setting.
Yeah.
Right. I absolutely agree with that. So, yeah, I assume we're all on the same page here though, right? Like I think we all think the same thing. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about with Legends CA? Cause I do want to move on, but, I really want to make sure that we give this game time to breathe because I don't want to predict too much.
Right. So the only other thing is, will they show Mega Evolution? And
because that's a good one.
They've shown the little thing of Mega Evolution, like the crystal. Will they show any Mega Evolutions that are new? Is my question.
That is a good. So that was I was gonna say like if it's general, they're gonna show Megas, yes, because it's a trailer. Again, we're cutting it close. I don't think this is gonna be a November release.
No, this is gonna be like like I said, it's gonna be a summer release. It's gonna be a summer release.
We're already almost at spring. Cutting it too close. So the trailer itself, it's going to show Megas. Now, here the specific question of Clod, if it will be new Megas, that's a good question. I don't know.
I think they might because with the reveal of Legends Arceus, they showed Weirdeer.
Yeah. I would say to go with that, then are they going to show regional forms and regional evolutions?
Are there going to be regional? Are there going to be regionals of some sort? I don't even know if there will be.
I think they're going to show. Like I'm going to be like hopeful and say they're going to show at least one new Mega Evolution and some Pokemon that couldn't evolve before that's evolving. Like like what they did with the Weirdeer situation.
Right.
Yeah, I believe there will probably be at least one new Mega Evolution shown, or there's going to be. What I could see is, let's say Kalos starters do get Megas, like I think they will. I could see a world where, or a trailer where they like show the 3 starters and they're going through the Mega Evolution animation, but they don't show us the end, right?
Right.
I could see something like that, or maybe it's like a certain Pokemon that couldn't Mega Evolve before, and they show it, but they don't show the end result. That way, they can save it for a reveal in like a month or two, because it's gonna be a very short press cycle for this game for Legends EA.
Yeah.
Because again, it's probably coming out this summer, and
here's
the worst case, like by September for sure. But I think June, July is probably like the real timeline.
I can see July. I'll go with July. I'm down with that.
I think June, July is the time frame for this game to come out. I really do because it's going to come out for the Switch 2, and the Switch 2 in my mind comes out like September.
So the recent one of the rumors has it that the starters are going to be Piplup, Snivy, and Scorbunny.
Those make sense. I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that. It's a rumor though. I don't put a lot of credit in rumors nowadays because there's too many of them. I want to go back to the regionals discussion though. I'm a little hesitant to say there's. Yeah.
Stantler was a Generation 4 Pokemon, right?
Generation 2.
2.
Oh, never mind. My question was relating like Windeer was that peak Pokemon that they showed on Pokemon Legends originally to show like there's something. What would be that Pokemon that they might show?
I think it's a Mega. I think it's a Mega. I think they show a Mega.
Who would shock people?
That's a good question. I really think if you're gonna do it, I think a starter is really good, but they probably want to save that. Like they're gonna keep a surprise for the starters, just like they did with the Hisuian forms.
Yeah.
Because we never got that press release until like 2 months after the game.
Flygon? Maybe show. Flygon?
They could show Mega Flygon. Everybody would cheer.
Yeah.
If Flygon got a Mega,
the biggest like Pokemon could do to win everybody over time.
Right. If they showed Mega Flygon, that's such fan service. I just don't see it because it's so much fan service.
Yeah.
No, for real though. Like Mega Flygon would be fan service. The other thing I see floating around, this goes in the regional / new Pokemon type category. And I'll put it in there for myself. Is like a new Eevee evolution. Because there was actually in Gen 6 like a canned flying type Eevee. There was a can that got confirmed. Like there's a confirmed like canned flying type Eevee, and it's weird. The canned flying type Eevee, they said they didn't release it because it was too close to fan art that came out around the same time, and they didn't want to be accused of stealing it.
Yeah. So I think that's why they can't do any more Eevee evolutions unless they do like a new type or something crazy with it.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason we got Sylveon, honestly, is because they didn't know Fairy type was going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And unless they decide to do a dual type Eevee,
they're not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I think the only way you get
regional forms for all the Eevees on different
absolutely
types.
Not absolutely not. I
make them all the types that we don't have Eevees, and then they're all regionals.
I'm gonna say there's new Pokemon. I don't know if they're shown, but I think ZA is gonna have new Pokemon. Hard stop. Like I think that they cannot stop themselves from making Pansap. I believe in fear of Pansap. Pansap. So do you remember last in Legends Arceus they finished off a quartet in Landorus, Thundurus, and they finished off the genie quartet with Enamorus. I fully believe and am worried because this isn't like it's not like an official fourth member, but the three monkeys, Panseers, Pansage, and Panpour, are all based on the See No Evil, Do No Evil, Hear No Evil monkeys. There's also a Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, See No Evil. But there is also a fourth monkey called Do No Evil that's sometimes associated with that.
Isn't that Monkey Dory?
No, it's not.
I know.
And so in my heart of hearts, I believe they will make Pansap, a fourth monkey that is based on the Do No Evil. Do No Evil. I actually am a little wary about regionals actually, because I kind of think Pokemon wants to move away from them, even though they're the best ideas. Right. No, I think they want to move away from them for this one reason, and that's because if there is a Pokemon game, they always include every form of that Pokemon, and so if you make a regional evolution that is if you make a regional Pokemon,
I think that's why they brought in Convergent Evolution.
I agree with that. Exactly. I believe they brought in Convergent Evolution because they don't want to have to bring back, like if they bring back Tentacool, they don't have to bring back Toedsquirrel now. They just don't have to.
Well, I mean, besides the fact that they also did Tauros at the same time, but that's different.
Yeah. Well, I think they did the regionals. I think they did both to like kind of ease us into the concept.
Okay.
Because there weren't that many regional Pokemon in Gen 9. It was just Tauros and Wooper. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like so, even in the DLC, we didn't get regionals. We got convergent forms, right?
Yeah. I think that's all we need though for ZA. There's a lot still that can happen with Pokemon that we should talk about as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got like the easy ones that I think we can like marathon through.
Okay. Go for it.
Pokemon Sleep, they're obviously going to talk about it, right? I think it's confirmed that like Suicune's coming to it, so I think that's going to be the announcement.
I thought Suicune was coming to Unite.
I might have gotten it backwards. There's some Pokemon that's probably coming to Pokemon Sleep, and they're going to announce it.
Okay.
That sound reasonable?
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
Which one? Sorry.
I don't know which one. I'm sure they're going to talk about Pokemon Sleep, and they're going to be like, "Here's a new Pokemon."
Oh yeah.
We can talk about the same thing with Cafe Remix. They'll mention it. New Pokemon coming to Cafe Remix.
Yep. I agree with that for Pokemon Cafe Remix. It's farther down on the list, but yes.
Yep.
I'm just gonna copy that row and just put it right there. Okay.
Exactly.
But Pokemon Go, I think they actually have like a community day announcement that they're gonna announce anyway, like some kind of community event.
I can see that.
Pokemon Go, yeah, community event will probably be announced.
Insert new raid. Maybe they're just gonna start bringing in new Pokemon from something else they haven't had yet.
Yeah. Insert new raid.
I think they're missing like 100 something Pokemon still. So.
But I think at this point, if they haven't introduced them, they're just going to leave them for the next generation.
Oh, no, they're just going to do it at some point. Like, they slowly leak them out. Like, that's what they're doing now.
Exactly. I think
it's
there'll be
a bunch of Gen 8
introduce
stuff.
These new Pokemon.
Yeah. It's a bunch of Gen 8 stuff where they just, they're just doing it. I guarantee you on Pokemon Day, there's also probably some Pokemon like that comes out more commonly.
Oh, we forgot to mention it, but Masters EX will have a new pairing. Insert Pokemon here from Gen 9.
Yep. Gen 9 Pokemon pairing in Masters EX. That's the next column. Yep. You're correct.
I can't see your column, so I'm just sort of guessing.
Yeah, I know you can't. You're correct, though. You are correct.
Pokemon Unite gets a new character.
Pokemon Unite gets Suicune. I think that's confirmed.
Yeah, that's confirmed. Yeah.
I will say though, with Pokemon Unite, I'm hoping that they announce the auto chess feature as its own separate thing or a permanent game mode. Because if they can do that and have their own little ranked system in Unite, it'll bring more people back to the game, at least me to play it and whatnot, and be very happy. I've also heard there's the possibility of a Pokemon Unite 2.
Really? I have not heard this.
Yeah, I've heard that there's the possibility that they could be bringing out Pokemon Unite 2, where it's a more improved version of the game, and they're just going to stop adding things to it for a little while and then bring a new one. I could see that. It's a far-fetched thing, but that's a rumor that's going around for a little bit.
It is far-fetched. Okay,
correct.
So I want to take us down another rabbit hole.
Before we get something else, do you want to talk about Pocket?
I forgot to put Pocket on my list. Yeah, Pocket is my Pocket.
I have a hot take on this.
My Pocket prediction. I'll let you go after I go. My Pocket prediction. My Pocket prediction is that we're gonna get a new set based on Arceus.
That was my guess as well.
Arceus.
Yeah, like how we had the Mew set.
Yeah.
Like how we had the Mew set. Instead of the Mew set, there's going to be an Arceus set. Yeah.
Yep.
Just like that.
I absolutely agree with that.
Perfect.
Mini set with Arceus. I think that Giratina will also be involved, but it's going to be Arceus on the package. Because Arceus EX. Arceus EX doesn't exist. But I believe Giratina will probably also be in that set, but it's not going to be the star of the pack. It's going to be Arceus.
Agreed.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, cool. TCG
Done.
Pocket. That's 100% what happens there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Where's the rabbit hole you want to go down?
I want to go off spin. I want to go down the rabbit hole of spin-off games because I want this to happen.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
All right.
So
Shoot.
I want us to do for this section. I want to rank the likelihood that we think this might happen. For honestly the rest of the categories that I have.
Okay.
Because I have a bunch of different games that aren't part of the Pokemon Day formula, but are things that either I have personally wanted to see or other people have asked for, and I want us to get our feeling of how likely is this to happen, to come out. Like that's what I really want, yeah. Okay. Let me finish writing this one down because I forgot to put that one in as well. But yeah, so I want to see our chances of something happening. So first and foremost, I'm going to do just like a bunch of spin-off games. I think the most likely contender for a spin-off game announcement from a franchise that we already know is a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, probably like Explorers of Sky remake.
Interesting.
Kind of in the same vein that we got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX a few years ago. Where they just announced it and they're like, it comes out next month, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Like if that happened, I think there's maybe, I don't think it's likely that it's going to happen, but I think there's like a 25% chance, probably higher than any other like spinoff coming back. I think 25%. Like that's my prediction for like a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game to come out.
I can see if they're gonna make like a new spin-off-esque or a new remake of a thing. I can see that. I do think there is still the possibility they could take some of the older like Pokemon games and just like add it to
well,
like
we're getting just wait. We'll get there.
Fine,
we'll get there.
okay.
We'll get there. That's not a spinoff. That's not a spinoff, Claude. We're all spinoffs.
Sorry.
Mystery Dungeon. What's your prediction on a
I'm
chance of
talking
Mystery
like
Dungeon
XD
game
Gale of
happens?
Darkness. I'm talking about Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, no, we're on Mystery Dungeon right now. That's where we are right now.
I don't think there's gonna be a new Mystery Dungeon.
That's where we're at. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, Claude. 0%, 0%. I've got your vibe. I've known you long enough. I included it.
Good. Glad.
I included it. I've known you long enough. So we're just going through likelihoods and discussing it, and that's what we're going at. But yes, I agree. Yes, we will talk about it certainly. Okay, so Pokemon Ranger is another thing I see a lot. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it exists off the DS, right? Like we all agree with that.
Yeah.
Like we just all agree, 0% chance this happens, right?
I think if they do a spin-off, I think it's going to be something new.
Yep.
So I have I have this category, and we'll talk about it after this next one.
Okay.
I do have this category. A new Pokemon Snap game, because the other one had critical acclaim. No.
Yeah. See, now this one,
I think there's like a 10% chance, only because they brought it back.
Right.
I don't think so, because the other one was good for like a month and then it fell off hard.
Yeah, but did it sell?
I think they don't care.
I don't remember what the sales numbers were, but it probably did okay.
Okay.
But there was only hype because people have been asking for that for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it finally came back. I don't think there'll be another one after that, though.
I think there could be another one. I think there could be.
That's fine.
But I put it at like 10%. I said like 10% for myself. Like I think there's a chance. Like if it happened, it happens. Okay. I need to have some high risk involvement here, right? I don't know. So what do you think about new Snap, Jushiro? Like a new Snap?
It could happen. I give it a 50%.
50% chance that it happens? Oh man.
Yeah, no, let's give it 25, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, let's go 25. I feel like 50 is like, man, Jushiro really thinks
I'm
this is
gonna
happening.
say 0 or 1.
Yep. Okay, so the next category is a new spin-off game.
Like a brand
sort.
new one that we've not seen before?
Yeah, like something like they just come out, they're just like, hey, this is a new game that we have with Pokemon slapped on it, right? Like it could be like kind of how like Mystery Dungeon's like another game, or honestly anything. So, like they do like a Pokemon Fire Emblem crossover. They do, which isn't going to happen. That's not anything I would predict.
I mean, like, if we had Mario and Rabbids,
wait, one at a time. One at a time.
I was saying that if we had Mario with Rabbids, anything can happen.
Absolutely,
so,
I agree with that.
There has been there is news that there is a spin-off game of some kind in the works. I think the code name was like Pokemon Synapse. That will we get it revealed for us? No idea. But they are working on something because they did do a Pokemon plus insert studio here that I do not remember thing before. It's like, oh, we are working with them to put out a new game. And will we get information on that? I don't know. But I do think a new Pokemon spin-off is likely.
Okay. I think it's likely that we get some kind of spinoff. I'm going to put it like 50% for myself. Yeah. I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it would be, but I think there's a chance that we get some kind of new, like out of left field spinoff game.
So here is my like crazy hot take is they do an entire like spinoff game based off of Eevee because they like doing that. And you get to pick between one of the Eeveelutions. Yeah, and it's just like, all right, cool. It's some sort of adventure thing that's like multiplayer. So all you and your friends can all be different Eeveelutions or something crazy like that.
I can see it. I can see that happening. Absolutely.
Imagine it's like Splatoon, but it's Eevee.
Splatoon, but that's called Pokemon Unite.
But Splatoon is not like a battler. It's more of like,
I know.
Give me an Animal Crossing, but instead of animals, Pokemon.
I would love that actually. I would be super into that. Okay, what's your likelihood what's your likelihood, Jushiro, that like a new spin-off that we just comes out of left field?
I would say it's 50-52. I really do that we're gonna get LC, but they're gonna end the stream with the announcement of what's next and what's
I don't know if
right?
we'll get there. We're gonna get here in a second.
No, I know what I know. Yeah. I know. I'm keeping it in this topic. It's if it's not the other thing I think it is, then it's a new like we just said, a new spin-off. So I would say 50-50.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, the next category, if you will. So the next category I have is Pokemon GameCube. Like, what are the chances we think that might come back? I'm gonna honestly say like probably 0.
I don't think yet.
You don't think yet?
So I think their priority would be finishing Game Boy Advance.
Okay, so I do have this, and we can talk about that here in a minute. But yes.
That's my stance there, because I know you have that as another topic, and I'm like,
yeah,
because I think that's
so you don't think yet.
First.
So maybe like next year,
a couple years out. I think we're still away from that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do agree that Gen 3 needs to like come out before that happens. Yes. What about you, Jushiro? Do you think they're going to come out with Coliseum XD remakes of some sort, or no?
No, there's no need for it right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, they put it out. Only the fans will buy it, and no one else will care.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get to, well, you know what? I'll move it. I want to move this topic to this column, and then we'll talk about it there. But because I don't want to jump around too much, but so we were talking about like the retro games, like Gens 1 through 3. Like they're not going to be playable. You can't buy them now, right? Because the eShop shut down on 3DS. I do think it's possible that we get something. I saw some rumors go around about like a collection, which honestly was the most reasonable set of rumors I've ever seen. Honestly, I do like the solution, which is probably why we haven't seen it on like Switch Online yet, because they say it's going to be on a cartridge and that you could download the games individually on the eShop. Blah blah blah.
It's
I think that makes sense.
Which is like red, gold, ruby, fire red, and then reminiscence, which is blue, silver, sapphire, leaf green.
I don't know if it's gonna
yellow, crystal, emerald, or like digital purchase. That's the rumor of it, and it's supposed to come out March 13th. So we'll see if this rumor is right.
I don't know if the rumor itself is going to be exactly right, but I think they have to put it in a package if they sell it as a cartridge or as like something like that. Because I think going, oh man, I'm going to go spend $60 on a Game Boy game is bad.
Exactly. And it's like, and even then I'm like, part of me is like, would I even consider buying it again when like just to play the old games? It does have
so what would sell it to me is home compatibility.
It does,
like any way if they give me a way to get direct home compatibility with Gens 1 through 3, I'm there. I'm there. And I think it is what they need to close the gap. Now, do I think they're going to announce it here? I don't know. Like it's a really unless they release it really soon. Like within I don't know,
probably March 13th. Oh.
It would have to be pretty quickly. It would have to be pretty quickly because
I mean, some of these always have the like it's out now because they revealed it through at the same time as the direct. I don't think that might be that.
It might be short though because like we did have the direct one
year.
I
think 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's possible for it to be within a month. Like it is possible. Like that's what happened with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. They announced it and it was out within like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be my Pokemon dream come true if they finally release.
I mean, I really want this to happen. I'm gonna put this on the higher end of my predictions and probably say around 50% for something like this to happen because I think that I honestly think that Pokemon needs something like this.
Yes.
I think if they do it, and I think if they release it on cartridges, they get around the whole issue they're having with putting on Switch Online, which is like save states and everything like that.
Yep.
I also, honestly, I really hate Switch Online. Like, it's just bleh. I think it would also be really cool to unlock there's a transfer pack functionality in the Nintendo Switch Online N64, there is a transfer pack functionality programmed into the emulator, and it would be a great way
that would be
to
cool to like.
Yeah. So I mean, I really want this to happen. And with the eShop shutting down last year, it's been a whole year. I think if it doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen next year on the 30th anniversary. And also with the release of the Switch 2. But I think it would be really cool. And I think a big selling point of it is, hey, Gens 1 and 2 will work with Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 on Nintendo Switch Online.
Exactly.
I think that would be a really big selling point. So just something for other people to consider. But yeah. So you guys are like, what percentage are you at? Oh, go ahead, Clod. Go ahead.
I think we're at 50. I think once they do this is when they can finally give us what we've been wanting this whole time, which is just Pokemon Battle Revolution 2 or Stadium X.
Yeah, I don't even know if they do that per se, but I do want that. I didn't put that on this list because I think it's honestly too far-fetched.
Once they finish this section of it, then they can do it. Because they're like, all right, we're gonna have a tournament that's only Pokemon from Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and you have to go and transfer those Pokemon in to do it and play in that
honestly, in my opinion,
tournament or something.
In my opinion, I think that if they do like these retro games, like they're on a pretty good path to make all Pokemon generations compatible with home, which I think is very healthy and something that they should strive for.
Yeah. Correct.
But Jushiro, what is your prediction on the percentage of this happening?
Of it's happening, pretty. I mean, I don't know. I would say 35%.
35%. I think
it sounds to
safe.
me like, yeah. I think it's not gonna bulk. How you say home run if they do. I being old fans have been clamoring for this.
I think Pokemon's more popular than ever. Like it's been like some good data for this is that Scarlet and Violet is probably going to overtake Sword and Shield in terms of sales. Yeah. Which so for the record, like I don't know actually the last time. I don't think it's ever happened. Most consoles, with the exception of the Game Boy Advance, have gotten 2 generations of Pokemon games on them, and only. And I don't think any of them have had the second release on the console actually surpass the first. Like Sun and Moon didn't beat X and Y. Right. To see Scarlet and Violet beat Sword and Shield, that's pretty amazing. I mean, same with the Game Boy, obviously. On the Game Boy, Gold and Silver didn't beat Red and Blue, obviously. And then I don't believe Gen 5 beat Gen 4 in terms of sales.
Right.
So it's just something to bring up. But yeah, speaking of Gen 5 as like a complete pivot, by the way, something I've seen a lot come up online is the possibility that a Unova game is in the works. In an Ilka style. Probably in an Ilka style, but I'm honestly worried with like I don't think it works in the timelines with everything, because my thought is, one, Pokemon's not going to be the November game this year. Like, there's no way Pokemon is the Black Friday game this year. It doesn't get that slot. And the timelines just don't really match up, right? Because
I think they're gonna. Because isn't there rumors of the Switch 2 coming out this year? Right?
No, it's not rumors. It's confirmed.
That's not a rumor.
That
is confirmed.
That's confirmed.
But then that's confirmed. If none of these Pokemon games are going to be on the Switch 2.
No,
and
no.
I think if they're going to
do
that November Black Friday thing, it's going to be something new for the Switch 2. That's going to be specifically for
exactly the thought is that's what's going to happen. Yes. So Pokemon traditionally has never released in the first year of a console's lifespan. No Pokemon game has come out within the first year of a Nintendo console existing, because Pokemon likes to prove out that the console is successful enough to put a game on it.
But
there's no exception to this rule. There's no exception.
Yeah, there's never been an exception.
Okay.
There's no exception. The Game Boy was out for 10 years before Red and Blue came out. We did not get Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire for like another 2 years after the Game Boy Advance launched. We didn't get. It was another 2 years after the DS launched that we got Diamond and Pearl, maybe a year and a half. And then it was on the 3DS. We didn't get Pokemon for like 3 years after the 3DS launched. I remember when the 3DS launched, nobody bought it, and then the PS Vita came out, and everybody was like, the PS Vita is going to beat the 3DS because the sales are trash. Then the DS lowered the price point, and then X and Y were announced. And I remember all the memes of Iwata holding out Pokemon X and Y and going, "I present to you the PS Vita's coffin."
And it was.
It was. They also specifically came out with the 2DS. They also specifically came out with the 2DS as like a cheaper option to play Pokemon because it launched on the same day as X and Y, which I find hilarious. And I don't think a Unova game's coming. Like if it did, I wouldn't be mad. Like I think it's something that should happen because it's a great way to get the DS games onto Switch. I don't disagree that it shouldn't happen. I just don't think that it's gonna happen. I don't think this is the timeline for it. Like
I don't think it's gonna happen until Gen 10 is out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm gonna go 0% here. I think people also forget that like I don't know. Like I think people forget and people want remakes all the time because we just got BDSP alongside PLA, and I think a lot of people really, really get hung up on and forget that. I don't want to be mean about it, but like I think they just forget like how reasonable it is to get 2 generations back to back with remakes. It doesn't happen. Like it just doesn't, unless you want to count like Let's Go as a remake, which I don't truly do. I count that as like an experiment. More than anything.
They were trying to play off of the Pokemon Go hype.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Which is this is obviously nothing that they've done, but I wish this going forward is what they would do. I really don't. I think because of technology and how everything has moved, the need for remakes is not needed as much. I would rather have the original games and then have them revisit them with new story and new things.
I think we're somewhat on the same page, Jushiro, but I think we. I think that speaking from like somewhat of a place of privilege is the wrong word. It's just old age for us.
Right.
Because we played those games at launch, right? We know the story of Pokemon Black. We've replayed those. We know these.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And the problem is like we have no concept of time anymore.
Right.
And Pokemon Black and White came out 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And so there's a 14-year-old that probably didn't buy it on launch that exists in this world right now.
That won't come back because it's old school.
Exactly. And even if they wanted to buy a used copy of Pokemon Black right now is about $100.
Right. No, but what I mean is what I was trying to say is like, give it that collection to which we talked about. Give me the originals in a collection.
Oh, I see.
And then if you're going to repeat, then give me Generation 5, right? Go back to Unova, but give me a new story.
So I mostly agree with you. I would prefer that, but I don't think it can happen with the 3DS titles specifically, just because we've gone away from a dual screen.
Oh yeah, those things.
Format.
Things
and so I think BDSP was like the remaster that was needed to make Gen 4 continue. Yeah. So like that's why people like to poop on BDSP, and like there's obviously things to get mad about it for, but I really think that BDSP, if we get those styles of games going forward, that's perfectly fine, especially for the preservation of like Pokemon history. Like, and keeping that in the zeitgeist. So I really think that's fine. I think doing collections of like Gen 1 through 3, like we discussed, perfectly reasonable. But I just don't think there's a Unova game on the horizon this year. I don't think it gets announced.
No.
Are we all on the same page with that? Are we all 0% on that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm never 0. I'm always 1, but yeah.
You'll be 1? Okay, I'm going to put a 1 there for you, Clod. That way everybody can see your eternal optimism. Just in case it happens. You don't feel bad?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay being proven wrong. If I'm proven wrong about anything I said isn't going to happen, I'm happy. Like, I'm certainly happy. And I already predicted something Kalos last year, so I'm done. I'm retired. All right. So the last category I have, and this should hopefully be a quick category, but I have to put it here because people are going to ask about it. Like people think it might happen. Do we think there's going to be a Gen 10 announcement?
Yes.
You think so? Like, what's your percentage on that?
So, super tease.
Super tease.
At the end.
When did Scarlet Violet come out?
2022.
November 18.
Yeah. So this year, if you were on the 3-year cycle, this would be the year. But I don't think it comes out this year. I think
I'm not saying it's going to come out this year. It is going to be teased. Yes.
Yes.
I could see them doing. I could see like a Pokemon ZA, right?
I think that's what I mean.
Like, last thing they will do is, be like, and we want to leave you with one final thing. Say absolutely nothing, and then it's just like a small little animation of like insert like a Pokeball like rolling across the screen
through somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
And suddenly there's a new Pokemon that comes to greet it. It looks at the camera, and then it just says like 2026 or 2027.
Yeah.
Okay. And
it's just like,
and we might not even get the names.
No names.
I see.
Just
no names. Just Pokemon 2026 or 2027.
I could see that. Okay, so if we're just gonna go with a tease, I will say
a tease is higher than a full-on like announcement.
If we're just gonna go with a tease, I'm gonna say 50% for a tease. I think I'm not 100% on this.
Yeah.
I'm 15% on it.
15% for a tease.
No, I'm 50. For a tease, I'm 50%. They have to. So right now, our carrot is CA.
Yeah.
CA is going to be released soon. We need another carrot.
I don't know if we need another carrot. I mean, they do this all the time where they've done it significantly in the past where they just
need a carrot. They need a carrot.
I don't know.
Needs a carrot. We all need a carrot.
We all need a carrot. No, I think that. I think if they just focus on ZA this year, I think the company would be fine if they just didn't say anything until next year. Like it'll be very clear when they announce on Pokemon Day 2026 hey, here's the new game.
Shareholders.
I mean,
shareholders.
There's no shareholders. It's not a publicly. TPCI is not publicly traded.
Is it not?
It doesn't have shareholders. No.
I gotta go back and check. I mean, I believe you. It's just like I'm shocked.
It's not.
What am I gonna do with all my Pokemon stock now?
What am I gonna do with my? If there was TPCI, we should all own stock in it. We don't,
right?
Because we can't. Yeah, TPCI is not publicly traded. TPCI, the Pokemon company is just like three-way held between. I was thinking of Niantic.
I'm an idiot. I was thinking of Niantic.
You're thinking of Niantic. Yeah, Niantic is publicly traded. Pokemon is not. But yeah, okay. So we have gone through a lot of things today. We've had a lot of discussion. This is one of the longer episodes we've had. So I want to pass it back to the people listening to the show to let us know what they predict. They'll hear before the next show, obviously, but maybe even what they think about what happened on Pokemon Day. But we'd love to see predictions because I want to like pair up predictions and like pull up a chart or something next episode and be like, this is how many people thought that something like this might happen, you know? But I would love to see you guys even go through percentages of things like we did. Again, the sheet will be available for you guys to look at and you can copy and take your ideas and do the same thing. But please, and if you have things that aren't the sheet and you want our opinion on them before Pokemon Day, feel free to come to Discord and tag me. Ask me what I think. Only for this. Only tag me for this. Don't tag me to be like, hi. Don't do that, please. Don't do that. But yeah, if not, you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and it might be read on the show next week. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and kick things on over now to our Puckle's Pokey opinion now that we've done all of our opinions on this. So let's catch you on the flip-flop. Welcome to Puckle's Pokey Opinion, the part of the show where we ask a question and we come up with an answer to it. So this week we have a Pokey opinion. I actually did source it from the Puckle community. You guys can let us know if you have any Pokey opinions for us to answer in our Discord server. I'm going to set up a channel for it so you guys can drop some. But I just like sourced it from there. I just asked, what should we ask this week? And so this one's from Toganik. And if we had to get rid of one baby Pokemon, what baby Pokemon would that be? That is the question. One? Just one. Just one, Clod. Yes. What baby Pokemon do you want to just see yeeted out of existence? Because Igglybuff is the right answer, I think. Igglybuff and Cleffa, I think, are just like the right answers. I don't know. I don't know which other one is.
They don't add anything. Like all the other babies add something to the Pokemon. Like I was thinking, like, oh, Smoochum, but no, I like Smoochum.
Smoochum's cool. Smoochum, Elekid, Magby,
right.
all fine.
Magby's my favorite of all of them, but like still, it's like.
Elekid's probably my favorite. I think Elekid's probably my favorite baby Pokemon.
See, Magby's
Even
mine,
Pichu's
so it's
fine.
perfect. Pichu's cool. Like it adds
Pichu's
a thing. Cleffa and Igglybuff do absolutely nothing, and even then, I like Cleffa more than Igglybuff. Igglybuff feels completely useless to me.
I think Cleffa does feel like it rounds out that line better, right? Like
yes,
like Jigglypuff doesn't feel like it needs a baby form. Clefairy, I could see a baby Clefairy. That makes sense to me. A baby Jigglypuff, no, it's definitely not this thing. Definitely not an Igglybuff. Like it's yeah. I just don't know what to tell you. It's ugly. I agree with you. I think Igglybuff is probably one of the worst ones. They did do a lot of things very early on where they were just like, oh man, do you want to see like I think they made baby Pokemon to make baby Pokemon for a little bit. I think another one
behind it, honestly.
I think it was like a new mechanic, quote unquote, that they really wanted to emphasize in Generation 2. Where
the breeding,
the breeding mechanic. They wanted to emphasize breeding, and they wanted to force you to do it. So they lock Pokemon behind the Pokedex behind the mechanic, right? It seemed similar with like the friendship mechanic. Like there are other Pokemon that shouldn't be baby Pokemon, by the way, that are labeled baby Pokemon. Like we haven't had a proper baby Pokemon. Well, I shouldn't say we haven't. Like Toxel was the most recent, right? It's actually technically a baby Pokemon. I think Toxel is a man. Toxel bothers me actually. I'm not a fan of, like I hate its official art too, where it's like crawling like a demon baby almost. And like they included like a diaper in its design.
Yeah, it's not good.
Hitting the mark.
It's too much. It's
but
too
like
much.
Toxtricity is so cool.
No,
I just hate that it
Toxtricity
has
is
a bad
fine.
preform.
Yeah, Toxtricity itself could just be a Pokemon. Like it doesn't need Toxel. Toxel doesn't need to exist. We could just have, Toxtricity. It's much cooler. Toxtricity, I mean, especially with the two forms, you could have just been like, oh, I caught a Toxtricity punk form. Yeah. Or not a punk form, base
Make
form.
it a male versus female, type thing.
Yeah.
And
they could have just done something like that where there's just two forms that you catch, right? I would have been perfectly fine with that. Honestly, they could have made Toxtricity 2 Pokemon, kind of like Throw and Sock, and it would have been much better anyway.
That's what I was thinking now.
They could have just done that, and I think everybody would have been fine with it. Is there a huge difference between the two forms? There's not even a stat difference. No, there's nothing different.
No, a slight move pool difference. I think like a move or two that's off, but
I think that's it. I think that's literally it. Is just like the move pool is slightly different, and even then, it's not very. It's not very different. I think Magnetic Flux on low key form and Shift Gear on amp form is all you get. I think that's literally the only difference. Wow. Wow. Thanks Pokemon for this wonderful Pokemon. But yeah, I think that like Toxel, Igglybuff. Ah man, I'm trying to think. Wait, let me just look up baby Pokemon, like baby Pokemon. Like what is a baby Pokemon?
Munchlax.
Oh, Bonsley, I don't like Bonsley.
I don't like Bonsley.
I don't like Bonsley either, but like it feels better than Igglybuff. And I love Munchlax. Munchlax actually might be my favorite baby. Ooh.
Munchlax was a good addition. I'm not gonna lie. Let me pull up baby Pokemon.
Ooh, Badoo. I like Badoo.
Oh, Badoo's a terrible one.
I like Badoo. It wasn't needed. It really wasn't.
It was not needed. I dislike Badoo because it was added at the same time as Roserade. Like they decided, like, this single stage Pokemon. What if we just made it a 3-stage line? What if we did that and we added things to the ends? I don't know. Badoo feels very tacked on.
Chingling, man, but Chingling, that whole line I don't like.
Chingling is a bad one.
Yeah.
And I would argue Mime Jr. as well.
Oh yeah, I don't mind Mime Jr.
I don't mind Mime Jr. I like him.
Okay, that's fair. I think another one that's weird is Mantike, but I think it's safe because it actually has an interesting evolution mechanic.
Yes, that's never explained. So it's like,
what do you mean it's never explained? Well, I mean most evolution mechanics are never explained nowadays. But I do dislike a lot of them that like required incense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do dislike that.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we could just go back and
more useless.
Yeah, I just wish we could go back and like retcon that, kind of like we've retconned the stones lately.
Yeah.
because the incenses just feel unnecessary.
I agree.
They just feel very unnecessary. And it's just, yeah, they're not fun. I don't like them. Get rid of them. We don't need incense. Like, I don't need them. How do you feel about why not? Does why not necessary?
Oh, I hate why not. I say that, but like, I don't know. The baby Pokemon don't do anything special for me most of the time. So
no, most of them are just dex filler, right? Like,
yeah,
like most of them are just dex filler.
I used to hate them in the TCG because they had that Pokemon ability that you had to flip a coin to hit them.
So actually, in the TCG, they're way cooler now. I actually really like babies. They brought them back recently in the TCG.
Oh, really? What are they doing with them?
So actually, one of them is very playable. And it's Badu. Badu is very playable right now.
What does it do?
For no energy, you can do an attack that does 10 damage, but gives its item lock. Your opponent can't use items next turn.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so it's very good.
It's actually pretty good.
It's very good early game. You can just slow your opponent down to a halt. Like, it's very good. So I like Badu's very good. They did come out with like Alakid cards and Magby cards, and they're like somewhat playable. Cleffa has like some play as well, because the Cleffa card can you can just 7 cards. Yeah, you can draw 7 with its attack for no energy. Again, they're just like no energy attacks on the baby Pokemon, which I think is a very good way to handle them. Like, and they all have like 30. They have like 30 HP, so like they can be pinged pretty easily.
Right.
They're all going down. Like, they're all just going down. I think the Mantike, like, people thought it might have some play. Like it was on a buy list that, like, I usually go to Azul's buy list, and I just buy the cards he tells me to buy, so I have them. They're typically not very good, but like the Mantike card is like pretty okay. I mean, you can heal to 120 damage from one of your bench Pokemon with the Mantike for no energy. But yeah, they do, like, the baby Pokemon, they all do these things with, and they don't make the other Pokemon evolve from them, thank God. But
okay, that's even better. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, they just exist. Like, they just exist.
Kind of like in the game.
Yeah, kind of like in the game. Yeah.
They just exist. No purpose.
They just exist. They are dex filler. But yeah. All right. I think I'm going to end our conversation here.
Yep.
And you can, of course, let us know what baby Pokemon you think is the worst in our mailbag next week, if you'd like, instead of letting us know what your Pokemon Day predictions are. But yeah, with that, guys, we are going to kick it on over to our mailbag. Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com, and we might read your email on the show. As always, if you start a good conversation, you can get a good email with us and maybe get the Green Tauros badge, because as I forgot to mention, this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves.
Oops.
Yep, and we'll get the Green Tauros badge, blah, blah, blah. Okay, with that said, though, we're going to jump into our first email. Last week, we asked you guys what your top and bottom 5 Kalos Pokemon were. So many of you replied. I can only get to so many of them today. So let's go dive into this. All right, so our first email this week is going to be from Just Ben. Bonjour, Puckle Peeps. I love the Kalos region, and I look back at X and Y as being one of the most exciting revealed to release cycles in the whole series. It was a good one. Actually. Mm-hmm. It was a good cycle. I love the Kalos. The Pokemon introduced in the Kalos are largely consistently solid in the quality department, but there's still a few that stand out, for better or for worse. Without further ado, here they are, top 5. Number 1, the Honedge line. Ever since the first reveal trainer for Honedge in 2013, I've been in love with the Haunted Sword. And there's no end to how cool it is when it evolves and becomes a dual-wielded swords with Blade, and then gaining a shield with Aegislash. They're easily in my top 10 Pokemon lines of all time, and are my number 1 Kalos line. Number 2, the Talonflame line. My favorite regional bird, next to Wingull. What is there not to love about a flaming hawk with a subtle archery motif? Rip Gen 6 Gale Wings, though. Number 3, Goomy. The cutest little draconic blob there ever was. I vastly prefer Asui and Sliggoo and Goodra over the originals, though, so I didn't fully appreciate the rest of the line until PLA came around.
Yeah.
Number 4, Chespin. Chespin was my first Kalos starter, and I love the little fellow since January 2013. I actually just put my new sitting cutie Chespin on my desk this morning. I don't dislike its evolutions like many others do. However, the line did peak with Chespin, design-wise. That's true. That's a true statement. Have you seen Clod?
No arguments here.
Have you seen Clod?
Yep.
Number 5, Auroras. My favorite fossil mod in the series. I love its beautiful aurora fills and ice crystals. Bottom 5, Volcanion. Don't disagree. Maybe the most boring mythical and a letdown for being the first and only fire water type.
He's definitely the most boring mythical.
I would agree with that as well.
Pseudo legend. Well, I don't even know what he is.
Yeah. In italics, the remaining 4 will be explained as a group after the list below. Number 4, Barbaracle. Number 3, Slurpuff. Number 2, Aromatisse. Number 1, Diggersby. To fans of Barbaracle, Slurpuff, Diggersby, and Aromatisse, these 4 Pokemon are all terribly ugly. I said what I said. Sorry, not sorry. Diggersby is especially disappointing because Bunnelby has a 10 out of 10 design. Actually, that's true.
Yep.
Kalos has mostly beautiful and cool Pokedex and Fonds, but these 4 just aren't it for me. Anyway, thanks for reading. See you on the flip-flop. Just Ben. Well, thank you for that, Ben. We appreciate it.
Yes.
All right. I believe you've got the next one, Claude. Who is
do.
it? It's, let me
Thomas.
pull that one up. Thomas O'Brien. That's what he goes by. All right. Well, dig into it if you want.
Yep. Howdy, Puckle. Kalos has always been my favorite generation. I played and replayed Pokemon X and Y more times than I can remember. I always loved the music, visuals, and of course, Mega Evolutions. Narrowing down my top 5 ended up being a bit harder than I thought. Top 5. Greninja. Big shocker, right? Aside from it being an overall popular Pokemon, it's my all-time favorite, and its shiny is pretty fantastic too.
Yeah.
Esper. Wow, that's cool. Honestly, the main reason I like it is because of the evil Esper memes I saw back when the game came out.
Yeah,
those were good.
It was a really good design.
It does.
I'm not surprised that it lands on people's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Diancie. Going out to GameStop with some college friends to get the Diancie code solidified my placement in the Pokemon fandom for me. Also, its Mega Evolution is amazing. Malamar.
Okay.
Some of the Pokemon I like the most are dual types, where one type is super effective or immune to the other. Yes, this includes Volcanion. I can do without the weird evolution method, though. And then rounding out the top 5 is Xerneas. This is the Pokemon I think of when I think Fairy-type Pokemon and Gen 6 legendaries.
I think it's a tie between Sylveon and Xerneas for when I think of Fairy-type Pokemon.
I think of Sylveon, not Xerneas.
I think Sylveon I think of first before Xerneas, yeah.
Yeah. All right, bottom 5. Greninja in Paldea. They gave it its line weird frog eyes, and I hate it. Okay. Goodra. How is Goodra in your bottom 5? That's all right.
That
anyways,
I agree. I get it.
I don't. If you had told me Goodra was a poison type, it would have been an easier time believing that over a dragon type. Giving the dragon type feels like they had the pseudo legendary and made it dragon because almost all the others are dragon type.
It's the snot thing about it that kind of gets
okay. Aromatisse. This feels like fairy type filler.
Okay, yeah.
It very much is.
Because they were just trying to make fairy types. They were trying to make fairy types.
Yeah.
Furfru. It isn't interesting enough to warrant its place in the Pokemon home economy. I disagree because of what they did with Furfru, giving it all the fun designs. But I get it. It does nothing else outside of that. It's like a pet Pokemon. And then Diggersby. I need to fill up my bottom 5. This felt like an easy choice. It doesn't actually offend me as much as the others Pokemon in the franchise do. Maybe one day Pokemon X and Y will get brought to the home console and I'll be able to play with them on my TV. Here's to hoping.
I'm hoping.
As always,
to.
keep up the good work, Thomas O'Brien.
Well, thank you for that.
And finally,
right.
we got here the last one.
No, it's not the last one. There's one more after it, but that's for reasons.
Okay.
But you get to go. You get to go. You do get to go, Jushiro. You get to read yours from Orbeetle Boy.
Orbeetle Boy. Howdy doody, Poco peeps. Last episode, you asked what type of gym leader we want it to be, and what Pokemon would be our ace. This doesn't seem to be the same question.
No, we asked both questions. Questions last week.
Yeah. I'll be a bug type gym leader, and my ace would be Orbeetle or Buzzwold if you get my hands on one. My Orbeetle would be Psychic. Would have Psychic, Shadow, Ball, Bug Buzz, and then the fourth move would be maybe Giga Drain or something. I remember when I played Shield, my Orbeetle's best move was always Shadow Ball. It was an ace in the hole. Then my other 5 Pokemon would be Golisopod, Vespiquen, Centiskorch. I always have problem pronouncing Centiskorch. Vikavolt, and Frostmoth.
That's a good team.
Yep. My gym would be a dome stadium, large enough to hold a Gigantamax. Oh my God, what's wrong with me this morning? Gigantamax.
Gigantamax.
Gigantamax. Thank you.
There we go.
Gigantamax Orbeetle. It's not even the first time I say this word, but it's today. I know
what you mean.
Painted to look like a ladybug. That's cute. And the entrance would be a monstrous ladybug head that would strike fear into challengers. Overall, I think bug type is the coolest kind of Pokemon, and there aren't enough of them. Hopefully in Gen 10, we'll get some more. Catch you on the flip side. Orbeetle Boy.
Well, thanks for that, Orbeetle Boy. All right, so our last email this week is it's a 4th email. We typically only do 3. For these, we do 4 because our good friend Tamal emailed us, and Tamal, as always, has brought some spice for us. So I'm gonna go ahead, switch over to that. I'm gonna make sure that everything looks good. Cool. Because I have to use a different screen because his pictures did not translate well for me, unfortunately. All right, so let me go ahead and get that started in a second. I want to make sure everybody can see and read the awesomeness that was his email. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna begin. All right. So he says, "Good day, Puckle. When I think about Kalos, I think about food. Kalos, aka France, is well known for its cuisine, but I haven't been to France enough to accurately match Kalosian Pokemon to which French food they'd most relate to. So I'd go with a little context closer to home. Australian backyard barbecues. Imagine the smell of sizzling sausages, the taste of frosty beers, and the company of your closest mates, with Pokemon joining in on the fun. So here's my top and bottom 5 Kalos Pokemon. Kalos Pokemon, but you're having them at a barbecue.
You're having them for barbecue or on a barbecue?
Yes, both. Yes, both. Number 5, Go-Goat. A little unorthodox to have at your barbecue, but if you lightly season the shanks, grill them with a little smolive oil, and braise them with veggies, Miltank stock, and white wine, you can have yourself a nice Go-Goat Oso Buco. The natural herby flavors of the Go-Goat permeate nicely during the cooking process.
I'm sure it does.
Number 4, Slurpuff. Whip this Pokemon up, top a meringue slab with it, and add your favorite sweet berries such as Pecha, Magost, and Salic berries. And then you've got yourself a delicious Pavlova, an Aussie dessert favorite. No matter how much our Kiwi friends across the Tasman Sea try to claim it as theirs. Number 3, Pumpkaboo. Gotta get some veggies in at your barbecue. Grill with some Knackley salt and some grassy pelt from the Go-Goat from earlier, and you've got yourself a healthy side dish. Plus, who doesn't love the crunch of cooked Pumpkaboo seeds?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Clauncher. Throw a shrimp on the Barbie, mate. Especially when drizzled with lemon garlic butter. I'm deathly allergic to shellfish, but no barbecue is complete without this Aussie classic.
Hey,
Number
that
2,
claw he looks very meaty.
Number 1, Talonflame. Everyone loves a good roast chook. Note, chook rhymes with book. And the great thing about this Pokemon is that it comes pre-roasted. Baste it with some Scovillin sauce, or just serve it plain and crispy. It's all good. All right, bottom 5. Binnacle. You might be able to prize off the barnacles to grill or cook with a chili or tomato sauce, but the rock typing leaves a nasty grit taste in your mouth. Pass.
Yeah. Break your
Bergmite.
teeth with.
Number 4 is Bergmite. You could shave off the ice and add syrup to make snow cones, but this Pokemon is much better used at barbecues as crushed ice and put in a cooler to keep your beverages cold.
Yep.
Number 3, Malamar. On one hand, grilled squid with tartar sauce is delicious. On the other hand, guests who eat these often find their moods becoming topsy-turvy, or they fall into a hypnotic trance, which totally ruins the vibe. Number 2, Sliggoo. Who remembers those gelatin mold dishes from the 1970s, usually made with some sort of tuna mousse in the shape of a fish? Serving a Sliggoo at a barbecue is like a worse version of that. 50 years too late, and this one will dissolve your tongue after one bite. Number 1, Yveltal. This is one that you don't want to roast at your barbecue. Like Talonflame, it tastes like chicken, but Yveltal also has a distinct bacon flavor. Unlike Talonflame, when you try to prep this for cooking, it literally absorbs the life energy of every living thing, ending your backyard barbecue much earlier than anticipated. Would make the number 1 spot if you were hosting a barbecue for a death cult, however.
Oh, God.
Dishonorable mention to all the callous Pokemon made of inorganic material like Honedge and Klefki. Doubtful you'll need a 2-foot-long knife, and the only keys that should be there are when you hide your mate's car keys after they've been on the beers for too long and they need to crash on your couch for the night. Cheers. Cheers, mates. And I hope I haven't spoiled your dinner. Timal.
Very good.
Well, thank you for that, guys. Is there anybody you want to give the Green Taurus badge to that's not Timal? I should preface that. Timal definitely already has it. I like Just Ben, or even...
I like Just Ben. Yeah, I was going to say Just Ben.
Yeah.
Just Ben.
Just Ben. All right, Just Ben, you get the Green Taurus badge this week. With that, though, guys, if you want to email us next week at puclpodcast@gmail.com, you can absolutely do that. You can send those in. Either let us know what your predictions are for Pokemon Day 2025, or you can let us know what baby Pokemon you would get rid of. You would just yeet out of existence. We'd love to hear. Send those in. But yeah, if you want to keep up with us throughout the week, the best way to do so is to hang out with us at Discord at pucldiscord.com. Additionally, you can also find us over at, what's it called? Oh my gosh. You can find us over at social media at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. We're at Puckle Podcast and all of those. If you want to keep up with us throughout the week as well, we also stream both here on YouTube at youtube.com/PucklePodcast and also at Twitch at YouTube or twitch.tv/ThePucklePodcast, because we're old enough to have a Justin.tv account and not convert over the account. Aside from that, if you want to help support the show, you can do so over at our Patreon at patreon.com/PucklePodcast. At the $20 tier, you guys are going to get your beer mugs here in March. So I'm actually really excited to get those sent out. Not beer mugs. I should just say glasses with the Puckle logo on them. And then I already have the next one picked out for June, so I'm very excited to reveal that to you guys here in a little bit. And then we should be getting back to more extra content. I spent a lot of time focusing on the video portion of the podcast this month, so we're going to have some cool things. I'm actually really excited to do a video version of Game Corner in the future for patrons. So definitely look out for that. And of course, we're going to have some like custom interviews and stuff like that are coming your way with that as well. With that though, guys, you can also go to Troll and Toad if you want to buy some cardboard like I do, and use code PucklePod5 at checkout to get a 5% discount. With that though, guys, I have been Trainer Thatch.
I've been Clod 9.
Some say I've been Jushiro.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
closing time.